All right, Big Bang, welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Snake Draft Monday. We are joined on Zoom by Lil Sass as well as Francis. Sass, your first one, your first Snake Draft. Welcome, man. We're happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Francis, welcome back. I think the last time what did we do with you?
It's like finer things?
Yes, the finer things. Yes,
yeah.
That's right.
That Brad Hour video that we did in Arizona a year and a half ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, did you see that I put that restaurant we went to on the blog? I listed the 10 best restaurants I've been to in 10 cities over the last couple of years.
I have not. I did not see that blog, but that was a good spot.
I don't even believe you. I feel like you did read it, and you're just trying to do this to put me in some sort of like mental
Do you guys think I
inferiority
read
place.
that blog?
Francis, his head is in such a hole right now that I don't know
It's not
if
a-
he sees anything.
That's not true.
Dave, I don't think so. I don't like
What do you
when
mean
I
a hole?
like when I text him, I just feel like it goes to outer
Dude,
space.
well,
Like, I don't know
That was
If-
9:30 p.m. on a Sunday night, young man.
If you text Dave after 5, like if he's left the office, he doesn't look at his phone.
That's not true. I was asleep
Well,
last night early. I fell asleep right after Thrones. What do you want from me?
If that is true, I admire that. That's actually awesome.
It's
I love
fucking
people
sweet
who
when I do
disconnect.
that. But last night it was 9:30. I just fell asleep early.
All right.
5 p.m. Are you nuts?
9:30 is pretty early.
It's very early. Yes. But it was Sunday.
You have a
night.
long day?
Sunday night. No, I went to the. No, I didn't.
I would need to like run a marathon to be able to fall asleep by 9:30.
I like to fall asleep early and wake up early. I like to start my day early.
He's the
Yeah, I
early
mean-
guy, and he likes to tell you how he wakes up
That's
early. Don't worry.
I had a
I was
big,
texting Eddie this morning at fucking 5:30 in the morning.
What was that? Yeah, what was that?
I went to bed at 10:30.
and how do you feel? How do you feel?
Pretty fucking awesome. I
Terrible.
bet.
I had to take a nap before this.
I've already burned 600 calories this morning.
for some reference, it's 10 a.m. Central Time, so you're texting me at like 5:30 in the morning. So
Yeah.
it's like
So that's 4:30 our time?
no, that was
Yeah.
yeah. So
I had to go back to bed.
Wow.
in reference. Today's draft will be funny people. It'll be split into 5 subcategories. There will be stand-up, actor/actress, political, athlete, and dead. I'm interested to hear from you guys, obviously, because you guys are in the comedy realm, to see what you think about all the picks and whatnot. So I think this will be a good draft. Any like takeaway coming in? Do you guys like have any thoughts about anything?
No. I made a little list, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think the only thing we tried to distinguish before we went live here was if they're dead, they can only be in the dead person category, right? Chief says no. He says he thinks they could still be taken elsewhere.
Yeah, I was curious about that because all of my dead people were all stand-up comedians.
So what argue you're
I'm not like married. I'm not going to die on a hill for this stance, but I think if there's a politician who you think is hilarious or did something hilarious, like, and it's John Adams, okay, and you want to argue for John Adams as your funny politician, I think that's fine.
any other takeaways? Any other takes on that, Francis?
You know what? I wasn't on that side. I'm on that side now.
It's hard. It's hard. Dead person's a pretty broad
Yeah.
thing. Like if you're telling us that we have to choose a dead person who is neither a comic, actor, athlete, or political figure, you're starting to think very specifically about excluding massive categories of funny people.
Can I motion to change it to just miscellaneous?
No.
Why not?
Let's just keep it dead. But
It's
I
already
think you could still
miscellaneous.
take all that, though.
But like, so
No, they have
it's
to be
all-
dead people. They
Yeah.
have to be dead people, but you should be able to choose, like, maybe you should be able to choose someone who's in one of these things. But
Yeah,
try
yeah,
not.
yeah.
I don't know.
yeah,
That's why
like
I said
that's fine.
miscellaneous.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't that limit it to like what, like family members? You're like, yeah, my grandfather was a real hoot.
Yeah, let me tell you about it.
Yeah, or like just one guy in a viral video who's since passed. Yeah, that's pretty much all we got. I don't know. Let's just fucking start this and we'll see.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
wing it, right?
That works. All right. Sass, our producer Lance has a number 1 through 5 behind his back. What number do you think it is?
2.
Correct.
All right, so you could pick where you want in the order, Sass. If you want first pick, if you want fifth pick.
I guess I'll go What's the best? Second?
Well, if you get fifth, you wrap back up, so you get 2 picks back to back. So it's kind of however you want to strategize.
Like a fantasy draft.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go first. I don't know how it works, so I'll go first.
Yeah. 1 through 4, Francis.
4.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and you know what? Not only did I know Sass's was going to be 2, but I knew mine was going to be 4. This is like that O's the Mentalist, which again, I don't know why he pronounces it that way, but this is an easy thing to do. Okay, picking numbers that people are thinking of, it's fucking easy.
I didn't even know it's pronounced O's.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Drives me nuts.
What do you want? 2 through 5.
I'll go 2.
Okay.
This is making me a little nervous that these guys have a strong enough board that they're like, we're going 1-2.
1 through 3, Chief.
Now I'm going to feel like an idiot for getting it wrong, but I'm going to say 3. Yeah. Sorry.
Correct. Yeah, it's 3.
All right, I'll go third.
All right. 1 or 2, Dave.
I guess we'll go with 2.
Yeah.
That's right. Jeez.
Clearing the board.
That's never happened.
I don't think that it has ever happened.
Lance is trying to move it along.
Yeah. You on 4 or 5?
I'll go 5.
All right.
Am I being that guy if I don't go 4?
No, it's all right. All right, so the order is Sass, Francis, Chief, Eddie, White Sox, Dave.
All right, but before we get started on the draft, we want to talk to you guys about what, David?
Game time.
Game Time, our favorite ticketing app. You guys know it by now. We've been using it all summer. We used it at Billy Joel. I've used it for Cubs, unfortunately. They're not good. Have you used it for White Sox? Probably
I've
not.
been living at the Salt Shed. If you guys haven't been to the Salt Shed yet, their outdoor venue is open and fully functioning right now. It is the coolest spot, the newest spot in Chicagoland. They got a ton of people coming up. Still Woozy's an awesome newer band. They got a bunch of stuff in August. Salt Shed, Game Time, match made in
Can I tell you something I'm going to use it for?
What are you going to use it for?
I'm going to go see the GOAT.
Who's the GOAT?
Lionel Messi. Miami FC coming
Soldier?
at Soldier. August 31st, and if you use Game Time and you download that app, you get and use promo code DOGWALK, $20 off your first purchase. So that's a couple of beers. So make sure you're doing that. They also have flash deals for sudden discounts, zone deals for when you're feeling flexible, and their lowest price guarantee means that you can find if you can find the same seats for less anywhere else, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time is the best place for last-minute deals with up to 60% off your favorite events. So what are you waiting for? Like I said, I'm going to see Messi August 31st, Soldier Field, and I'm using Game Time to be there. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download that Game Time app, create an account, and again, use that code DOGWALK for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Download that Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
All right, Francis, or Sass, kick us off.
What are we doing? Stand-up comedian first?
So you could do anything.
Any
This is
category.
like best overall, whatever you think is the best in any category.
All right, I'll do stand-up comedian. I'm going to do Louis C.K.,
He's my favorite.
number 1. Greatest stand-up comedian of all time.
You know that makes you a pervert, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what everyone says, but it doesn't take away from the fact that he's the best stand-up comedian ever.
I agree. I've seen him twice live. Once with Eddie at Zany's on when he was like canceled.
Yeah.
We saw how many people are in Zany's?
Fucking 50.
Chicago,
Yeah, in Chicago.
maybe 100.
Yeah, it's like
It's
110.
Yeah.
Maybe the hardest I've ever laughed in my life, and he did kind of lean into some of the bits about being a pervert.
Yeah.
And I think he's my favorite stand-up ever. So I love the pick.
Yeah, I mean, every single one of his specials is good. He doesn't have a single bad special.
Yeah.
And he has like 8 or 9 specials.
If you were to tell someone to go on YouTube and look at one Louis C.K. bit, what would you tell them to look at?
There's a bit in the show Louis where he does stand up, and it's the one where he's talking about sleeping and his kids waking him up from sleep, and he's doing this like broken English like Latin voice where he's saying that there's a Latin goddess sucking his dick, and she's shooting heroin into his dick through her tongue, and then that's in the middle of his sleep, and then right before he wakes, and then like he starts hearing his kids calling his name while he's in the middle of that dream. It's very funny.
I'm gonna look it up after this.
Yeah.
Francis, is Louis the number 1 overall stand-up?
You know, Not for me, but that's just personal preference. I mean, he's certainly up there. For me, it's Chappelle, which, you know, is a little chalky, but
Is that who you're taking? You're up next.
oh, and I have to do comedian
No,
right
you,
now,
you
or I
could
can
do
go-
anything. Yeah, anything.
So I'm gonna go straight to athlete and just say Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
Ah,
Yeah.
I think I gotta do that. To me, he is like there's no other. When you say funny athlete, that is the name that comes to mind immediately and forever. And yeah, that's who I'm going with.
He was my top athlete.
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
the
I
board.
think
Yeah, me too.
he's won
Yeah.
one for probably everybody, right?
Yeah, and it's like there is something. It's a different type of humor where you can just off the cuff do it. Like that one line where he was like, Shaq was like, "Yeah, they confused me for somebody," and Barkley's like, "Who'd they confuse you for? Fucking Shrek?" And like so, like these little like he's very quick witted as opposed to everyone else on this list who would probably be just they meticulous about writing material and stuff. I think Barkley is. I
And
think
he doesn't give a fuck. He's been coming at the women
Yeah.
of San Antonio for like a decade.
yeah.
I think that's a good pick. I think Louis is a good
I just
pick
think,
too.
what I love about Barkley is that I think a lot of athletes, they try to be funny, and you can see it. There's a strain to it. It's unnatural. Even Peyton, who I consider to be probably like the second funniest athlete that I can think of, he's trying. It's a little more contrived, a little more manufactured. Barkley does not seem to, it's just natural for him. You don't know what's coming out of his mouth next. You don't know what's going to be funny. He often says things that piss Shaq off, and then Shaq starts threatening to beat him up on air.
Yeah.
And it's like, how is this still working? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what yeah.
To your
Barkley for me.
point, my favorite part about him is that cameras on or cameras off, he's saying the exact same thing. He's just Charles, and that's why I appreciate his brand of humor the most, because he's just, like you said, it's so natural. He's perfect.
There's an alternate universe where we could have drafted him as a politician. This is probably 15, 20 years ago, where he was thinking about running, I think, for senator or governor of Alabama, and he was going to be a Republican. And he was telling the story about how he was talking to his mom or his grandma, and she's like, you're going to be a Republican? Like, that's for the rich people. And he's like, hey, I'm fucking rich. so he's like,
Hey, Grandma.
yeah, I'm rich. So, yes, exactly.
He's cut from that same cloth as like Portnoy and those type of guys who just tell it like it is too, And I appreciate those guys.
All right, so Louis, Charles Barkley out the board. Chief, you're up. I could bet my bank account I know who you're going to pick.
I'm taking Dave Chappelle.
Oh, fuck.
Give me your bank account.
All right.
Give me your bank account.
No.
Give me your bank. So I wanted Louis C.K., but if Chappelle's sitting there at 3, I'm taking Chappelle. I feel like he's another guy who every special that he's done with Netflix hits. SNL monologues usually hit. I think he's tremendous. Obviously, the Dave Chappelle Show. I feel like we all kind of came of age at that time. Sketch comedy, like to me, he's the greatest. So getting him 3rd overall, it feels like a no-brainer.
Stunned, but
Why?
I don't understand why you are.
I'll get into it next. But I mean, Dave, it's nothing to do with Dave. I think Dave is great, obviously. Yeah. Do you guys still think do you still like him as much as you used to?
No.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Does he listen to this podcast? I don't want to say anything if he's a
No,
fan.
don't worry. We got like a Midwest thing with him, but like he listens on Thursdays, not Mondays.
Yeah,
we're good.
Yeah, no, I just don't think his last few specials have been that good. I think
preachy?
people think they're really funny because it's Dave Chappelle.
Ooh, I thought they were funny.
Like if I did Dave Chappelle's last special and put it out, people would be like, "This is the worst special in the last 20 years."
Maybe
That's horseshit.
maybe your
That's
delivery's
horseshit.
not as good. Maybe your
I don't like
delivery's
when comedians get super famous and then they just tell stories about being famous. I don't think that no one gives a shit about that.
I think that could be a function of like, what are they going to talk about? They have to talk about their own life. Like they're traveling around. Like eventually when you become so famous, like that's you're almost, you have less life experience to draw on.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. So I feel like there's a lot of big comedians that don't do that. Like Louis doesn't. He still talks about just like
Yeah.
baseline shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's not telling stories about like him and fucking Chris Rock and Jon Stewart like beating the shit out of a heckler.
Yeah, but he talks about like seeing Ewan McGregor and wanting to fuck him and stuff like that. He's talked about like putting himself in famous places and
Yeah,
acknowledging his status.
I guess that's true.
I also feel like, not that you're doing this, Sass, but I do feel like there's a tendency when somebody's on top for so long, and the standard is so high that if they go down a notch, then everyone's like, oh, fuck this guy. But I still think he's a genius and the greatest who ever lived. And my, like, very novice, obviously, compared to you guys, but he makes me laugh.
I think that Chappelle is the person who we don't ever compare any of his specials to any other comedian's specials. We only compare him to himself.
Yeah.
Because he is the gold standard. And it is tough to be like, yeah, well, I mean, maybe his last couple of specials haven't been as good, but that's because we're comparing them to 4 specials that he put out in like 2 years on Netflix, all of which were 4 of the greatest comedy specials of all time.
Yeah.
Bird Law, Equanimity, the one where he's in the green jumpsuit, Sticks and Stones, like all of those specials that came out in such rapid succession and were so different. Especially the one that he did, I think in the Belly Room, Sass. That's Bird Law, where he does that long pimp story at the end.
Yeah.
And it's more like solemn, and he very much subverts, I think, comedy. And someone once told me that like he had reached this point where he realized that he didn't feel the pressure to be funny every minute of his set, so long as what he was saying was interesting.
Yeah.
And I find that even if I'm not laughing, I'm hooked by what he's talking about.
I would agree with that as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if I don't agree with what he's saying a lot of times, you know?
Yeah, he's just got this kind of like philosopher, educative slant, where he's framing the world and speaking in ways that like I walk out of it thinking like, did I just read a fucking book? You know?
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter to me that I'm not judging it anymore just on how funny it was. Whereas every other comedian, Maniscalco, Bargatze, I'm like, yeah, that was fucking hysterical. I got what I wanted, you know, but they're not like teaching me shit.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
Yeah.
All right, to me, I'm stunned you didn't take Trump, so I'm going to take Trump. I mean,
he was
hilarious.
one for that category.
Yeah.
I mean, he's legitimately hysterical.
I would have taken him.
I know for sure you would have taken him. That's who I thought you were going to take.
I couldn't turn down Chappelle. If maybe Francis took Chappelle, I might have gone Barkley, but Trump is objectively the funniest politician who ever lived.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't know like who else even is there.
I think there's another one who's really funny too.
Yeah.
I got one for sure.
Some of the politicians I feel like, and we talked about this before, where it's like they might be at least a little bit unintentionally.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it gets subjective, obviously, there is that factor. But yeah, Trump is hilarious. The just chucking the paper towels or some of his tweets or putting the candy on the minion's head. Like there's just so many moments you could point to. It's like, what the fuck goes on in this guy's brain?
His nicknames.
You know? Just driving his cart up to the green. Like he's just, just a different brain for real.
Yeah. In terms of people that make me laugh on a consistent basis, he's right near the top now.
He's absolutely up there.
Yeah, he is so fucking funny. I miss him.
What about you, Francis? What do you think of old 45 and 47?
Yeah, look, funny is the operative word, and I agree. I mean, again, sometimes this is it's the Barkley thing of like, is he trying to be funny? You know, shooting the paper towels is like will always be to me one of the funniest things I've ever seen, given the context of it.
Yeah.
But he certainly wasn't down there in Puerto Rico post hurricane, being like, this is going to get memed. I'm being filmed, and this will be captured in the zeitgeist as a comedic moment. I don't think that was going through his head. I think he was just being like a dad almost, you know, like shooting paper towels, which I guess we wouldn't do because we'd be like, there's gravity here and these people are in trouble. And his utter lack of awareness of that is hysterical.
Maybe he was doing it on purpose.
yeah.
He was trying to bring those people a little levity in a time of crisis.
Yeah.
And when he just
That's
starts
leadership.
shooting from the hip on Twitter, like capitalizing the most random words,
Yeah.
the
grammar.
nicknames that he calls people that just immediately take hold. You know, if someone revealed tomorrow that Trump had a writing team with a little ear insert that is constantly being like, call Biden Sleepy Joe, or like call Jeb Bush, like whatever the fuck he called Jeb
But
Bush.
he called like Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas.
Pocahontas, like these things. It's just like he sinks other politicians' careers by coming up with nicknames that are fucking stupid but hysterical.
What he
and then
talked
nobody
about-
takes them seriously anymore.
He had like little Marco Rubio, and then there's like the
Yeah.
things like, oh,
Yeah.
Trump's got small hands, and he's like, I got normal size hands, and everything else is normal too. Don't like he's talking about his own dick on like a debate. Like everything,
I knew-
everything's fine in that department.
I
too.
knew we were in for a wild 4 years when they had the Fox News. It was the original, very first Republican primary debate back in 20. It would have been 15, I guess. And whoever is moderating looks around the stage and goes, "If whoever comes out of this victorious, will you in the end endorse them as the presidential nominee for the Republican Party?" And he looked around. Everybody raised their hand that they would endorse him, and he's like, "Raise your hand if you won't endorse him." Straight to like just shot to the top, and I'm like, we are in for a wild
How
few years.
about in that primary where he was like spreading the rumor that Ted Cruz's dad killed Kennedy, or it was like the Zodiac killer? So like he was like he's an insane.
Or
person.
when he got off the plane to Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death.
Oh, that's with
Oh
Tiny
my God,
Dancer
that's one of the
playing.
funniest videos ever.
Yeah,
What did he do?
that he gets off.
She
the
was
plane.
a great woman.
Yeah, Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, the
Yeah.
Supreme Court justice, and like for whatever reason, Tiny Dancer
It
was
was just
like
blasting in the
blaring,
background.
so it had like this gravity. He's like, "Hold on, I'm learning this for the first time."
Unreal.
Great woman, tremendous woman.
I watch that video like once a week. It's like it's truly one of the funniest videos ever.
just to get some laughs. Everything about
That one
it
I
was
feel like
perfect.
was unintentional.
It was completely
That was
Yeah,
unintentional
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But like
But-
in the Shane Gillis, when he was talking shit about Al Gaddafi or whatever, he's like, that guy was just crying like a dog.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
45 minutes of shit talk.
Yeah.
He's out of his mind.
Yeah.
Dave, you're up.
Now I
Okay.
kind of wish I took Trump.
Yeah, I was. I couldn't believe
Trump
you
was
didn't take
absolutely the only pick for that category, which sucks. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with my chalk one. So the hardest I have ever laughed, and I've watched this stand-up special probably a dozen times throughout my life now. It's probably, I'm guessing, 10, 12 years old. But Alcoholocaust by Jim Jeffries is the hardest I've ever laughed at one single stand-up. It is start to finish piss pants funny. It's not prepared material. It's stories of his life. There's a story of him taking his best friend's younger brother who has muscular dystrophy to a hooker to get laid for the first time. And the guy's like in a Stephen Hawking wheelchair. And then there's another one where he's doing a show in Iraq and he's in a military helicopter and the guy's just fucking mowing down Iraqis below him with the gunner turret. It's absolutely piss pants funny if you haven't seen it. So I'm going for stand-up. I'm going Jim Jeffries. I think he's my favorite pure stand-up comedian out of all the bunch. I'm looking to you two for thoughts
Yeah,
on
have you
this.
guys?
Yeah, I haven't seen a bunch of Jim Jeffries stuff, but I know he's funny.
Watch Alcoholocaust.
I'll check it out.
I'm with you on this, Dave. I mean, he's a guy who reached the mountaintop and was the biggest name in all of comedy. He did the gun control bit,
Yep,
which launched him into a new stratosphere. And I don't really know what happened. I guess it's just a testament to how much people's senses of humor change and how hard it is to like hold the mountaintop, which Louis talks about. He says the mountaintop is a place to visit, not a place to live. And And I think that because these days I'm like, where is Jim Jeffries? Is his stuff not as good? And you start to think, well, because I'm not being fed it as like an explosive news special, I guess he's not. I mean, I saw that he's like hosting a game show now. I still have a lot of reverence for him because when I remember watching those like early 2 or 3 specials, and it was just the stuff he was saying, stories of like banging hookers, like it was so, I was like, how could anybody close to him in his life ever handle this stuff being public? There's a bit I remember him doing about getting a vibrating egg that he bought stuck in his asshole. And just, he's unbelievable. I love his accent. I like the fact that he drinks beers on stage. And I just kind of like miss him a little bit.
He had a Netflix special last year that was fantastic. High and Dry.
Okay.
It came out in like December, so it's only like 6-7 months old. So watch it. It's very, very good. It's cut from the exact same cloth of all the other shit he's ever done, so it's nothing like revolutionary.
I think he suffers a little bit from overexposure. I think that's what happens to a lot of people. Like when he had the hot hand, networks were just fucking riding him into the ground. Mm-hmm. And he had a show on Comedy Central that flamed out. They tried to give him another
it was very bad. I will say that it was bad.
Yeah, and you realize, like, no matter how big you are, you can only fail a couple of times before the shine wears off. And I think that's why guys like Chappelle just, like, are very careful about what's put out about them. And we still get excited about guys like Bo Burnham who remain so in the shadows and are so, like, hermit-like where, oh, shit, 4 years from now, he's going to put something out. And, comes out of nowhere and puts out one piece of work and then fades back behind the curtain. And they just maintain this like mysterious, enigmatic, will they, won't they, where's he going to be next thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's so wild how it takes so much to get to that point. And then it's really the next couple projects that are like the most important because that will kind of tell like everything.
Yeah,
crazy.
Would either of you have problem like selling out? Would that like test your moral? I don't know, fiber. I guess.
I haven't been given any
because I feel like I
don't think either of us have been given the opportunity to sell out.
say the opportunity comes along, you like because I feel like Jim Jeffries sold out. Like he made a fuck ton of money and he's just like whatever. I'm rich as fuck and like didn't carry on the art form.
I don't think that shit really happens as much anymore as it used to because, like, people don't really just like no one really just gets like discovered anymore. It's not like you can just do a set one night and then all of a sudden some dude's gonna come up to you and be like, "Hey, I work at NBC. How does it sound? Do you want your own sitcom?" Like shit like that doesn't happen. Like it's now like you'll know if it's gonna happen because you'll just significantly be getting bigger and bigger over time, and then you'll eventually just explode.
That's true.
That's a good point.
Dave, you're up.
Dave, if you're wondering if I given the choice between doing like a 3-year Capital One credit card campaign versus continuing to bang out sets and keep my art form pure, making $25 a show in New York City. Yeah, hand me the fucking credit card. Okay, that's where I'm going.
All right, just making sure.
I'd become the new Jake from State Farm tonight. If they
Absolutely.
I'd buy insurance from you, Sass.
Oh, man.
I would be on Twitter being like Jake from State Farm and me other two. Who you taking in a 3-on-3? Take your 3-on-3. You see that tweet that they did?
No.
Oh, I didn't.
Dude, I once auditioned for Dr. Pepper. They were like trying to find a new spokesman and they had this like series of ads and it would have been some kind of a character. I don't even know what. And to this day, it is the miss that I regret the most.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know like how close you got?
No, I didn't even get a call back. So not close. I did not scream Dr. Pepper to the ad agency.
It's so funny how that's like when I auditioned for White Lotus like 3-4 years ago, and it was like that. Like I didn't get But like I said that on a podcast, and now everyone thinks that it was like between me and the other dude for the main character. I was like, no, it was between me and like 20,000 other dudes that look like me. Like I was not even close. They probably didn't even watch my tape.
Yeah, but you still envisioned what it would have been like if you would have got that role. Like in Francis's head, like Dr. Pepper was like on the horizon.
Did you watch that show?
Absolutely closer to Dr. Pepper than I was to White Lotus.
Did you watch that show and be like, he sucked at that line? I would have done that better.
The guy that they picked had like washboard abs and was like 7 feet tall. There was I auditioned and my agent called me and he was like, do you want to do this self-tape? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, by the way, I shaved my head last night. And he was like, hair grows back. And then I did the tape and I'm fully bald in the tape. Like there was no way in hell I was getting that role.
Was it you versus the British guy that goes on the boat? Was this season 2 of White Lotus?
Yeah, it was season 2, but I don't know who it was. It was Albie. That's his name, I think. Albie.
Yeah, the British guy that fucks the older gay guy on the yacht. Yeah.
Oh, he fucks a gay guy.
Yeah.
Ah.
He's like a prostitute, I think.
You would have had to be a gay
guy.
guy.
There's some weight off my shoulders.
I'll be honest with you. I don't love you for that role. There,
no, they didn't either.
I got to be honest. Seeing him versus you, I'm going with him again.
Yeah.
And I'm your friend. Like, I want you to win, but I'm not enjoying the show as much if you're fucking that man as I was from that guy.
It would have felt more like a victim.
Yeah. I don't want to ever be fucking on camera. It's horrifying.
No, you'd be getting fucked on camera.
Yeah.
Dave, you're up again.
All right, I'm down to 2 people, and I was trying to make a pick between, in my head between these 2 people, like, but while you guys were talking about all that shit, this is such a struggle for me. So both of these guys could go in a stand-up or actress category. I'm gonna go with Eddie Murphy, and that pains me to go with him, even though I love him so much. I'm gonna go with him for my actor.
Beverly Hills Cop, good movie.
Shrek, Nutty Professor, he Coming to America. He him and another guy, which we'll talk about later. Don't want to tip picks. Like they are comedy to me. And he's been doing it for decades and decades, both stand-up and on the big screen. And he's as funny as any man who's ever walked planet Earth.
Have you ever watched his stand-up from, I think it's from like 1983?
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Canceled.
Raw, delirious.
Yeah.
I think that
Different
if
time.
you were to take a poll of every person who has started doing stand-up comedy in from 2000 to 2020, Eddie Murphy would be the most commonly listed person as which people inspired you to want to be a comedian.
Yeah,
he's the name that would be referenced the most, because it was, for me, I used to listen to him on Napster. I remember distinctly going to bed and memorizing his whole sets from Raw, Delirious, and then just regurgitating the bits at school as though they were my own. And people were like, wow, you grew up poor in rural neighborhoods? No, we all live here in Maine, but this is these are my jokes.
Yeah. Does it? Yeah, you named a lot of great acting performances, but obviously, like you said, the Red Jacket is what you really think of when it's like Eddie Murphy's comedy chops. So I guess it's going to work out for you, but I think taking Eddie Murphy the stand-up would have been better, but you probably get both.
I would have. I unfortunately fall in the bucket. I think of him more as an actor, even though I know that's not the case.
Yeah.
I think that there's going to be a lot of people younger people especially, that think the same.
Yeah, I think that.
But I've seen a lot of his stand-up, but when I think Eddie Murphy, I think the 1990s through,
Yeah.
Has he dropped his new stand-up yet or no? Wasn't he supposed to do one for Netflix, or was he just going to do movies?
I remember hearing about that. Yeah. I remember hearing that he was doing sets and kind of prepping, but
I don't think he's put out anything.
No.
All right, back to me. It's tough. It's getting tough. There's just so many good ones. I'm I expect some pushback, but I'm still a Sandler guy. He's, his movies have been something I grew up on and something that I still enjoy. So like they're not as good anymore as everyone knows, but
I think I love his new movie. Like I still like his movies.
really, which ones do you like?
They're all like, they're not like, I don't know. I don't think he's ever like Hubie Halloween. It's a classic.
I don't know.
Like those
haven't heard of
movies,
it.
those movies suck, but they're still like Sandler. Like they're still funny. They're not meant to be like these great movies,
Yeah.
I think.
But he also like has taken a bit of a left turn. I mean, he puts out great movies where he's more
Oh,
of a
yeah.
dramatic actor
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
too. So
The Scout movie, whatever it's called.
I haven't
was-
seen
That
Hustler.
basketball one, yeah.
That was super good.
It was outstanding. It's one of the best movies he's ever made. Like funny, not funny, drama. It was just
Yeah.
an awesome movie.
Yeah.
And I don't think people
I
talk
love that
about
he
it
can. I love that he can jump from like comedy slapstick bullshit to like thoughtful drama.
I
Punch
do
Drunk
think he
Love.
got host for that Oscar. I do think he got host.
For what's it
Uncut
called?
Gems.
For
Uncut
Uncut
Gems.
Gems. Yeah.
Uncut Gems, Rain on Me, which was like he was this grieving widow, friends with Don Cheadle,
Yeah,
whose family died in 9/11. It's like the saddest movie ever.
yeah. Yeah, he
That's
did-
My Boy is like one of the funniest movies of all time, in my opinion. That movie is fucking hysterical.
Yeah, that's my boy. I watched it again recently, actually, like within the last month or two, and it was better than I had originally given it credit for. So I guess it's aged better. But I remember reading it, watching it in real time, being like, "Damn, like I think he's lost it."
Really? I watched that movie for the first time super hungover like 2 years ago on New Year's Day, and I was in like tears laughing.
Yeah, no, I think it's like I enjoyed it last night, so maybe in
Yeah.
real time I was just like but then it's like he definitely like it feels a lot more raunchy for Sandler for sure.
Yeah, super raunchy.
Yeah, so that's why I appreciate it more now because he probably wouldn't do that now.
Yeah.
No, but Big Daddy, like just some of the characters, Billy Madison, Wedding Singer is one of my favorite movies of all time.
So for the record, there's no pushback at all.
Oh,
Everyone loves Adam Sandler.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
seems like an awesome dude too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
Guy
He's
can
probably
really
one
get
of the
smart.
most universally liked actors ever.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. And he can ball. If you ever seen him play pickup, guy can ball too.
He's easily my 1-1 like person that I would be like starstruck by.
Is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
See,
think
I don't know that it would because he just comes off as so normal. He dresses like a slob. He wears sweatpants.
Yeah, but it's still like holy fuck.
I know.
I've
Yeah.
probably logged more hours watching his movies
Yes.
than any other actor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's probably very true
Yeah.
for a lot of people our
Yeah.
age.
Have you ever watched his old stand-up?
I don't think so.
It's pretty like alt. It's pretty like he's like very awkward on stage. This happened to me 2 days ago. I was going through my YouTube and I realized that you could go back and you could look at comments that you've left in the past. And I had comments. I was like a full-on hater, and I was like 13, and I was looking at my comments from like 2013, and it was me commenting on Adam Sandler's stand-up, being like, "Can't tell if this guy's awkward or if he just fucking sucks."
That's just actually so back in like the late 90s, he had sketch comedy on cassette tapes that I got a hold of from my buddy's older brother
Yeah.
that were like super
I used to listen
raunchy.
to
Do
those.
you remember
Yeah.
those? What were those called again? I remember there was the one skit where he jammed the fireworks up to Bullfrog's ass and they made it explode. What the fuck
The
were
one where
those
he's
called?
like, there's one that shh, don't tell. What's your name? They're all gonna laugh at you. The one where I remember
that's
the
what
one
it
where
was.
he's
They're all
like,
gonna laugh at you. That's what it was. Yeah.
remember the one where he's taking the piss at the like baseball game or something, and he like can't stop. It's just him pissing for like
I mean, it's been
5
like
minutes, and he starts screaming.
it's probably been legit 23 years since I've listened to these, so no, but like there's a few that, and I just remember that I would have never thought about these again if it's not for this conversation, and they were hilarious. They were hilarious.
There's one where he goes into the hypnotist's office to try to break his habit of smoking, and the hypnotist starts farting uncontrollably, and Sandler keeps laughing. It's worth listening to. It's one of the funniest. Oh
Sounds
man,
good.
there's some great stuff.
Did you have you ever met him, Francis?
No, I wish that I had.
Yeah.
I agree. I think he's someone who like it would mean a lot to me to
Yeah.
meet him. But no, I haven't.
All right, we're going to take a quick break from the draft, talk to you guys about Omaha Steaks. Get that grill flaming hot. David, what are you grilling with Omaha?
I just like their. I mean, I get a party package.
Yep.
From my mom every Christmas. It's every time I get that notification that package delivered. It's awesome. They got these little apple pie fritter things that are fantastic. They got the fillets, the tenderloins. They mix it up.
They
cuts. It's great.
They got it all. So that's right. It's America's original butcher is heating up the summer with blazing hot deals on mouth-watering grilling favorites. Guaranteed to tantalize your taste buds for a limited time only. You can get scorching savings on legendary flavor during the hotter than fire sale at omahasteaks.com. So every package is carefully curated by flavor experts at Omaha Steaks to deliver an exceptional experience, and they start at just $99. Plus, for our listeners, you get an extra $10 off if you use promo code WALK at checkout. So whatever you're doing, burgers, like you said, they got the pork, they got the air-chilled chicken. Omaha Steaks has you covered, and it's guaranteed to make your summer worth savoring. So shop the Hotter Than Fire sale today and get exclusive savings on mouthwatering packages starting at just $99. It's really $89 with that $10 off by using the promo code WALK at checkout. So again, go to omahasteaks.com. That extra $10 off. You can't beat that, David.
Can't beat it.
Brats, burgers, chicken, grill season. Grill it all summer long. Use Omaha Steaks.
Omaha Steaks.
Chief, you're up.
All right. So I feel like the politicians probably my weakest category. I'm going George W. Bush, and I have this one thing in particular where he's on a golf course and the media's following him around, and he's talking about like killing terrorists or something like very, very serious, and he's like this will not stand. And then he like pauses, he goes, "Now watch this drive."
Yeah.
And he just like walks up and like
He
smashes
just pipes it down.
yeah. And so then he has like these other videos where he's had some, I think he's in Africa, and he's like moves the bongo player out of the way, and like he starts hitting the bongos and dancing. And I feel like he's hated so much that like forget that he was both intentionally and then unintentionally funny. But that one clip where like, now watch this drive, that gets a laugh out of me basically every single time. So I'll take W.
I think that was like right after 9/11 too, wasn't it?
I mean the whole, I don't know exactly. It was like the whole time was like
It would have had to been. He got elected like only 10 months before that.
Right.
So
I think Bush gets vilified. If you put him in like a different era of history, I think he's more popular only because 9/11 happened in the second year of his presidency.
First year.
And
it was
2001, right?
Yeah,
he was elected.
so he took office
January
you're right.
Yeah.
20th rather.
And so like it just changed the world on into like a darker era of terrorism and fear and war. But like he was this bumbling cowboy idiot.
Yeah.
And if he's not forced to deal with such massive calamitous shit, maybe we don't mind how stupid he is.
Right.
And we like appreciate it more. The stories of like him just completely torpedoing entire cabinet meetings by making fun of Cheney's like shitty socks for the whole time, and they keep trying to get back to the agenda, and he's like continuing to mock him for it. Or like the fact that Cheney shot that guy in the face on the bird hunting trip, and he kept making fun of him for it. Like, I love that stuff. And I think history is starting to like change the opinion of him because he's been better in hindsight.
Now he just
like
paints
people
paintings.
like him more. Yeah.
Yeah, in the movie Vice, they like make him seem like a big dodo.
Yeah.
Like, he's like eating wings, and like, oh, what's up, Dick? Like he's
I think he was a big dodo. I actually am going the other way. I think I like him less than ever as time goes on, but he just has these moments where it's objectively funny. And again, if this wasn't a category, I probably, you know, like I don't think it is. At least for me, I had a hard time coming up with some, so I wanted to get him. But yeah, Bush, he has some funny moments.
Francis, you're up.
All right, I'm gonna go actor Will Ferrell.
Ooh.
Here we go.
I mean, this guy is a decade plus of being an icon. You know, there was a run there where he put out, it was like he was kind of a third or fourth lead movie guy in SNL cast movies. And it was like Night at the Roxbury, Superstar, and then he was like the bad guy in Zoolander. And it was like no matter what he was in, even in an inferior part, he was stealing the movie. And then they started giving him leads, and he did Old School, Anchorman, fucking Elf, Step Brothers, Kicking and Screaming. And it was just like you didn't even care what the movie was. I was going to see it in theaters. And it defined, we quoted Anchorman for 5 years. It's sort of like didn't wear down. And Will Ferrell to me is just like, yeah, he's a god.
Dave?
I disagree. A lot of the movies you named, he wasn't even the lead. While he was great in a lot of those, when he is the lead, I typically don't like him. I think Talladega Nights completely sucks. I think Kicking and Screaming is a piece of shit. That movie's awful.
Damn.
Dave hates Will Ferrell.
I don't hate Will Ferrell at all. I think Ashley Schaefer is one of the great characters that ever blessed the small screen, big screen, whatever screen. I love him in certain specific roles. In a lot of his movies, I cannot stand him. That said, I will judge each movie separate from the other. I think that The Other Guys is piss pants funny, laugh out loud funny, start to finish. A lot of his movies that I feel like he got to a point where you couldn't criticize Will Ferrell. It's just no matter how good or bad a movie was, if he was in it, everybody thought it was the funniest thing of all time. And if you disagreed with that, then you were like a social pariah. And I think a lot of his movies where he is the head honcho are really fucking bad. Anchorman 2 was pathetically bad. I didn't even really like Anchorman a ton, even though I know I'm that like on the outside there. But like Land of the Lost, awful.
You guys know each other personally?
No, I'm
This
looking.
feels like a personal hatred.
Zoolander, great. He's the side guy.
Step Brothers, Blades of Glory, fucking
Blades of Glory was fucking terrible. I cannot.
Blades of Glory is so fucking funny.
That movie sucks fucking balls. I can't
It's truly
stand
one
that.
of the funniest movies ever.
I think that movie fucking sucks.
I'm with you on Kicking and Screaming. The rest of the list is, I think he's got all kind of hitter. Like you hate Elf. Elf is just like a fun Christmas movie. Where
Kicking and Screaming is a great movie.
No, there is nothing good
Kicking
about
and
that movie.
Screaming
That
is
movie
great.
is
Pretty
so
funny.
bad, and Mike Ditka's in that movie.
Mike Dick is like the second lead.
I know.
Yeah.
Like should be a movie like I am genetically encoded to enjoy because of who the second lead is in that movie, and I still detest it. It's not funny. There's nothing funny in that movie.
Dave, here's a weird one. Did you ever see Stranger Than Fiction?
Remind me of the plot. I feel like I have, but at the same time I'm not positive.
It was almost like Will Ferrell doing what Adam Sandler did. He kind of just like departed from his typical realm of comfort and went and did this very offbeat, still a comedy, but weird. The idea is he's a very normal guy living a normal life, and then there's a narrator, like a God voice over the whole movie, and he can hear the narrator. And the narrator tells him and like tells the whole audience that I think he's gonna die like later that day or the next day or something like that. And he starts trying to go through the world and
Yes, I've
change
seen
its
that,
fate. And it's worth watching now because it's an excellent movie. And it might change your opinion of him a little bit.
I see. That's what I said. Like they're in SNL. He's a god on SNL. Like the cowboy skit where his belly's flying out.
For a decade.
Like I don't dislike Will Ferrell. I dislike a lot of Will Ferrell movies where he is like the focal point, the head honcho, the main, the lead, whatever you want to call it. I think like when he has his cameo in Wedding Crashers, he's brilliantly funny, and you could tell that whole scene's ad-libbed. But like a lot of his stuff I just do not like. It doesn't resonate with me in any way, but like I can pick and choose when he does make me laugh, which is frequently, I would say.
At the end of the day, you can't deny how popular he was.
Oh no, absolutely
how
not.
draftable he is.
And I understand that I am the outsider on Will Ferrell like that, but that it's subjective.
This is one of your like more passionate takes. So it's like this and Denzel Washington.
I think he's the same guy in every movie. Even though he's a great actor, he's great at what he does. He's 99 fastball on the black. He just, you know.
Sass, you're up.
You got two.
Right.
Two back to back.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna get politician out of the way. I'm gonna do Vladimir Putin.
Wow.
Pretty kind of a controversial one. Doesn't do a lot of funny things, but he's got some funny moments. I think the hockey move is one of the funnier politician moves.
I forgot about that.
Playing a hockey game
But he
with
scored,
professional hockey players and scoring 8 goals.
Yeah. So it's like a little Kim Jong-un a little bit.
Yeah,
It's like, shot a 36. Golf.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or when he found the like priceless Oriental vases in like 2 feet of shallow water off the beach. Came out of the water like, look what I found.
His rise to power, just the propaganda was kind of funny too, where he was like riding horses, shirtless.
Yeah, riding the
He is
karate.
yoked as fuck.
Yeah,
He's jacked. He's a
jacked.
bad person. But
Yeah, he'd be funny if he didn't scare the shit out of me.
yeah. I think it's funny looking across the world, being like, that's funny.
Yeah.
Sure, if you're living in Russia, you're probably not like, this guy's hilarious. And then I'll do.
You have
I'm
to
gonna
say
do
he's hilarious if you live in Russia. You have to be like, you're the funniest, you're the best.
Yeah.
You get sent to the
I'm gonna
gulag if
do-
you don't.
I'm gonna do actor. I'm gonna do Glenn Howerton.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, Always Sunny.
It's a good pick.
I think that's like my favorite TV show character ever.
No one gets to that rage level in a funnier and better way.
Yeah,
It's
than him.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
Even in the role, did you watch the? I can't remember the name of it. It was
Blackberry.
Yeah, was
AP
that the name?
Bio?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. But even when he's like, that's a very serious role. but
Yeah.
they're like, we need a guy who can just yell and scream and like be believable. It was still funny. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
Even in that instance, it wasn't like the Golden God, like Always
Yeah.
Sunny, like rants. This was just like you're still just funny. Like I love watching that guy yell.
Yeah. He's the best. His there's a scene in Always Sunny where he dyes his hair black.
Yeah, he's peaking.
Yeah.
He does like the chemical peel.
The chemical peel.
Yeah.
What does he say? What does he say when they go into his room and he's laying in bed?
Oh, I can't remember. I
And he's
remember
like,
he's like, I haven't even begun to peak. Yeah.
He's like, do I look fuck, I forget what he says.
I know
Like
I
Superman
can
or
picture,
something like that.
He's like, do I look foolish?
Yeah.
And his skin is like melted off and his
Yeah.
hair is jet black.
Yeah, that's a great pick. I didn't even think to add that for whatever reason, but that was he might be my number one. I don't know how I missed that, but yeah, he's great.
Are you not an Always
Yeah,
Sunny
he's
guy?
funny.
I haven't seen it, no.
It's perfect
He
television.
gets murdered in my favorite horror movie of all time, though, so.
What movie?
The
The
Strangers?
Strangers.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't
That
think I've ever
is
seen that.
such a scary movie. Oh my God, that's so scary.
When did that come out?
Terrifying. Came out 2008,
Okay, so Sunny was just starting then?
was it?
I think so, right? When
Yeah.
did Sunny start?
No, I think it was before Sunny that he was in it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's,
Let's look. I think it was before that.
Sonny came out in 05.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Never mind.
Yeah. So
Yeah, 2008. You're right. Sorry.
don't watch the New Strangers. Watch the 2008 one if you're gonna watch it. It's great horror movie. Terrifying.
Maybe I'll throw that on
Fucking
tonight, Ed.
terrifying. Yeah.
Francis, you're up again.
So, okay, I've done comic, actor, and athlete. So I need political figure and dead person, right?
You need you need comic and
Dead person, politician.
and politician.
Okay. All right.
Didn't you do Dave
well,
Chappelle?
I did Chappelle.
Ah,
Got it. Comic then, I'm gonna go Bill Burr. For me, like he is my favorite comedian ever. I just love him. Another guy who just you find yourself being like, that's so true. Why haven't I thought of it that way every time I watch? And I think he paved the way for that very simple concept of like, I'm going to say something outrageous that nobody would agree with, and then I'm going to justify it. And by the end of my justification, people will be laughing and kind of agreeing with an idea that they at first were completely against. I love that. I love, Paper Tiger, that whole bit about, I think truly the bit about Arnold Schwarzenegger is, and like the epidemic of gold digging whores might be the best joke ever told. Love Bill Burr. Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been my pick coming up here. So
Yeah.
yeah. Good pick. Just how fucking curmudgeon-y he is like warms your heart in some fucking weird way.
Yeah, he's very true to himself. He goes on like morning talk shows and like, I think the way that there's the stuff he says about like cancel culture and being like, why do you even care? Like that they're trying, just ignore it and move on. And like, people are like, oh yeah, I guess I didn't really think of that. It's
you
very
could've
refreshing.
done that the whole time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chief, you're up.
I'm trying to decide if I want to be nice to you or not.
Don't be nice to him.
Don't be nice to him.
Why would you be nice to him?
I'm in a generous mood today.
I
I'm
don't know
thinking
what
about a
you're
dead
gonna
guy.
Oh, do it.
I'll take Chris Farley
All right.
as my dead guy.
I love Chris Farley, but he's not like my A1. So
For dead guys?
I still got some good dead guys available.
I was between two for dead guys. So I'll go Chris Farley. Another guy in like the Sandler category for me, where those might be the top two actors I've rewatched their movies more than any other. So early 90s, mid 90s, just kind of Murder's Row, SNL great, local, Chris Farley.
Yeah. Anyone not like Chris Farley is a pick.
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a guy who died on the mountaintop
Yeah.
Yeah.
and will forever be cemented as a result as he didn't live long enough to make a bad movie almost.
Black Sheep was okay,
Yeah.
I guess.
I liked Black Sheep.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Farley's great.
Yeah.
So
When he falls
I
down
don't-
the mountain for like 10
Yeah.
minutes.
I think it was his last movie, actually, one of my all-time favorite scenes in movie history. It wasn't even that funny of a plot line or anything, but it's in Almost Heroes when he's climbing to the top of the tree to get the eagle egg, and he grabs the egg, and then you hear the "Arr!" like the eagle noise in the background in the distance, and he goes, it's like it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think it was his last movie ever.
I think it
before he
was
passed.
too. Him and Matthew.
Yeah, it was.
Matthew Perry, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've never seen it, but I know
Oh
that
my
was his
God,
last movie
so
ever.
fucking funny, Ed.
It's kind of interesting dying on the mountaintop because almost 30 years later, he's still seen as like
Yeah.
a god. So countless great things. I'm up. I'm going to go athlete because my category is kind of thin and it's kind of a cheat code because of his accent, but I'm going to go Conor McGregor. Just the way he says things is funny. Who the fuck is that guy is unbelievable quote at the press conference. Yeah, he's just funny. And like I said, his accent kind of makes it a cheat code, but McGregor's my pick.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. The bring out the red panties, so fucking funny.
Yeah, he's good. You look like you don't like it.
I had another guy on my list from UFC that I thought of right off the bat for funniest athletes. He's active too. I think a lot of those guys, because they know they can't really get in trouble for what they say to a large extent. Like, they have no filters and they are innately more funny than other athletes because Dana White lets them let it rip.
Mm-hmm.
But so I don't know. I don't really like the pick. I think they're all kind of like that.
He kind of got to a point where he was annoying to me.
Yeah, he's kind of a douche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could be a douche and still be funny.
Yeah.
Totally.
Totally.
I'm not arguing that he's not a douche.
Francis is funny.
Yeah, Fran's a mega douche too.
White Sox, Dave, you're up.
No, we're not done ripping on that pick. It was not.
Go
I
ahead.
don't think it's a bad pick.
I think.
So keep going.
Do you guys have any? I don't know.
No, I think Conor McGregor's funny.
Francis?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Funny, but also, I don't know. It's like it's very manufactured. I think it's funny under the veil of like fight promotion in a way. But still funny.
Yeah. Dave.
All right, I'm gonna go dead person. So I think this category it's just murderer's row of all-time greats. Gun to head, I'm gonna go with Rodney Dangerfield of the bunch, though. Just a guy that exudes comedy to me, and that's like kind of what I was gunning for with this draft. Just like people that like they if you're looking up the definition of comedy, they're kind of synonymous with it, and I think Rodney Dangerfield is absolutely one of those guys.
Yeah, definitely.
He got like a late start too, right? Like he didn't get in till super late, I believe.
Into comedy in general?
Yeah, I forget his story, but I'm pretty sure
he was old when his like Back to School and Caddyshack came out. Like he was already probably in his 50s, or at least looked like it. So maybe I'm not familiar with his stand up or anything. If he had that beforehand, but yeah, he was older for those movies for sure.
Did they have comedies before like the 70s? What's a comedy from like the 40s that's like everybody loves?
I don't.
Well, you go back to Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah. That's true, I guess.
No, but you move in. I guess the Three Stooges had.
Also
Three
true.
Stooges had
They were the 20s.
a movie.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Dangerfield movie?
Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go Caddyshack. Caddyshack's an all-time great.
You're up again.
And then I need an athlete and a political figure. Now, can they be alive or dead?
That's what we talked about.
No, I don't think so.
They have to be alive.
They have to be alive?
Yeah.
That's why I brought it up.
Okay, I'll go just because I don't have anywhere else to go. I'm going to go with Clinton. Bill Clinton, that is, for a political figure. Slick Willie. You can't have a nickname Slick Willie without being kind of funny. I know this isn't him being funny per se, but there's one SNL sketch, I think it was SNL, that stuck out the most. He was a cartoon, and he was given like some State of the Union or something, and every time they'd pan the camera, there'd just be a different cum shot of his everywhere on the screen. Like a little dog would walk by, and there'd just be a cum shot on the dog. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Bill Clinton.
This guy rips on McGregor and he takes Bill Clinton. That's
Bill Clinton's funnier than McGregor.
No, that's not
Not
true.
even close. Bill Clinton's a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
You just picked a child fucker as the funniest politician.
I don't think I did. Did I?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He fucked those kids.
You said, you know what I love about Bill Clinton? You know what's funny? When he fucks kids.
I didn't say that.
Those were your exact words.
and that's
Play
a
the
bad
tape.
pick.
And him lying to the camera's face, pointing the finger. Tell me that's not funny.
And there is still an A1 political person on the board, just for the record.
Is?
Yes. An A1. I hope Francis takes him. He's the only one who needs one. So I'm not going to.
I got a good one. I got a good one for political.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's who you're thinking of, but I have a good one.
A1 political person.
A1.
American?
Yes.
Is it my turn?
I'm up. All right. So I
sorry.
need a stand-up or a dead person. Huh. Dead's tough because it's like an ocean of people. I'm going to go stand-up first so I could buy more time for that. I'm going to go with Artie Lang. I saw him once at Talia Hall. And, kind of never knew what you were getting from an Artie performance because he's obviously had some trouble with substance abuse. And he was good, but some of his old school stuff is great. So I just love Artie, too, from the Howard Stern show. So Artie's my guy.
This is your
It's
stand-up.
hilarious.
Yeah, he's great.
I think he's like done. I don't think he's doing comedy anymore.
Yeah, I don't think he can handle it. The last couple
Yeah.
of times he's been seen, he was doing he was on a garbage truck.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
I read something. It's like part of his recovery program is he has to do real jobs. So yeah, he's working at restaurants and doing manual labor and shit.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and people just
Yeah.
randomly see him out because
Yeah.
he has to do that for.
Damn.
Is that like court ordered?
Yeah, it's court ordered. Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
Oh man, that actually is whipping me into shape to never going down a dark rabbit hole of drug abuse. I don't want to do that.
Facing manual labor?
Yeah.
Preventing
Are you kidding me?
from
That sounds fucking awful.
Picking up the needle?
Wait, I didn't know he had to work at a garbage. I didn't know he had to be a garbage man.
You know what they say about crack. It's a gateway drug to minimum wage. I have to work outside if I try this shit. Pass.
Kind of think that's a little demeaning to people who work those jobs just because. To
Yeah. Like, hey, your job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, it's the threat of losing touch with my family and waking up in strange places.
I don't need any of
and
that
the bad teeth, the gaunt appearance. But for God forbid, Dave, you become a lifeguard someday.
Chief, you're up.
I'm taking Larry David. Larry David.
Oh, yeah.
Great
Yeah,
pick, great
two of
pick.
my,
Yeah.
he has little cameos, so this is my actor pick, but little cameos in Seinfeld, and then Curb's just probably a top 3 all time.
He's not acting in that, so I veto. I'm joking.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I love Larry David. I'm sad the show's over, but he's a legend. So
Great value in the 4th round there
yeah,
for you.
yeah.
Fantastic.
I probably would not. I didn't have it on my board until you took Glenn Howerton. I'm like, wait, I was thinking only movie actors for whatever reason. So
Yeah.
So yeah, so a little sass with the assist for me on that one, but yeah, I love Larry David.
I saw him live 2 months ago in Boston.
How was it?
It was good. He's old.
Yeah.
He's noticeably older in person than he is on the show.
Okay.
And it was the ticket, it was listed. They were he has there's going to be a special guest. It's a live podcast. It wasn't stand up.
Okay.
And they're as a special guest. And then I was looking on Reddit and it said that because he was only doing 2 shows. It was one in DC and one in Boston. And I think it was probably for a filming, a documentary or something like that. But in DC, they said that the special guest was Mark Maron. And I was super pumped about that. And then the guest in Boston was Bill Simmons. And I was yeah. I was I don't dislike Bill Simmons, but it was
That's a little bit of a letdown.
at one point he asked him a question. He was so you're a big Knicks fan and you're also you're good friends with the coach of the Bucks. He's they're playing next week. How does that feel? And it's dude, who gives a fuck? Who cares about that at all? Even he was yeah, I'm going to root for the Knicks. I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah.
No mention of the Celtics having an amazing season going into the finals. Just what do you think about the Knicks this year?
That's Then you should have gone to the
that's-
Mark Maron one.
I like Bill Simmons.
Yeah.
I'm writing a blog on this eventually. I'm the biggest Seinfeld fan on earth, but I am just now, for whatever reason, in the middle of my first ever Curb watch. And one thing I've noticed is Larry David has a bunch of scenes where he's doing athletic movements, and he is actually a good athlete. I can't wait to write about it.
What else does he do besides golf?
He plays tennis.
Yeah.
Golf. He throws
Softball.
he throws a softball, and it's like a natural. He looks like he's played softball before. It's just very subtle stuff. Very subtle.
Isn't that how Curb? Back to your thing, Sass. Isn't that how Curb kind of started? What didn't he do like a kind of a mockumentary about like getting back into stand up?
The first episode or the first, it's not even an
like a
episode. It's supposed to be
special,
a special.
Yeah.
It's called Curb Your Enthusiasm, and it's actually really good.
Yeah.
He does stand up in it a couple times, and the stand up's really funny.
Yeah, it's weird to look at because it looks it's shot so long ago.
Yeah,
Like, it's like from
it's still with like
2001.
it's still like Jeff Garland is his manager.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's good.
Yeah.
Francis, you're up.
Okay. I'm gonna say for political figure, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Oh,
governor of California, where he was governor for 2 terms.
I
And
understand.
as Bill Burr famously said, governor of a state he couldn't even pronounce. We probably forget all of the incredible sound bites and quotes that came out of his terms as governor, but famously calling, people girly men, just the listening to him give speeches and the incredulity with which the nation received him as governor. Everyone thought it was a fucking joke. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the governor of like one of the most prosperous states in the country.
It's like the third biggest economy in the world. And it's like
Yeah, it kind of
I'm
fucks
going,
me up now that like Gavin Newsom is the governor and like Schwarzenegger held that post like not long before you.
things were better.
No, but
Probably a better governor.
what?
Yeah. Right.
Imagine
What
that.
years was that? Was that during Bush?
I'll look. But like on top of that, I think he was fucking the maid the whole time.
Yeah. Had a kid with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
03 to 11, he was the governor of California.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's
It's
crazy.
like not even that long ago.
No.
No.
Feels like it was
No.
longer ago than that, but yeah. That's wild.
That's a good pick. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if he ran against Newsom next term. Like, you would never think that he'd be able to defeat him.
Trump should float him as like Secretary of State or something.
Yeah.
That would be
Mhm.
like, I know who I'm going to fill up my cabinet with.
Yeah.
Terminator.
Yeah. Sass, you're up. You need athlete and dead.
Do I have 2?
Yes, you need athlete and dead.
All right, I'm gonna go athlete. I'm gonna go Brad Marchand.
Oh,
Just alone off of him going up to Jonathan Tays during the 2013 finals and just skating over to him and saying your kids are ugly and then just skating away.
Jonathan Taves doesn't even have kids.
He doesn't?
No.
He-
You sure
Maybe
it
I'm
was
thinking of the wrong guy. Oh, it might have been what's his
Kane?
name?
Kane doesn't.
No,
He has one.
I think it was Patrick. I think it was Sharp.
Oh, it might have been. Yeah, it was probably Sharp.
Yeah,
Sharp
yeah,
had
yeah,
like
yeah.
the 2 cutest little girls. I think they're like 2 and 4 years old at that time.
Yeah.
He's like, your kids are ugly.
And they weren't even like matched up against each other. He just went up to him out of nowhere and said that. And I think Patrick Sharp was like, it actually fucked up my game, the rest of the game.
Like,
No, you guys probably don't like that because
Yeah. Well, then there was
they
like
won.
I loved it because later, I think that was earlier in the series, and later in the series when Kane started going off, and this is actually, we're recording this on the anniversary of that 17 seconds game. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And, but Kane, like, where he was like mic'd up, he goes, you should have kept your fucking mouth shut. And like the Hawks were
Yeah.
like rolling at that point. I think Kane had like, second half of the series, he went off. You should have kept your fucking mouth shut. The other thing about Marchand, I feel like people now he's like the captain and it's been a race. He used to just go up and lick people.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He had like a 3
Even,
years.
like, wouldn't he like bite people too?
I think he did. Did he do a bite?
It was
Remember
the guy on
Vancouver.
who
Yeah,
did that.
Alex Burrows was the biter and a hair puller. Yeah, but Marchand did lick people.
The licking is hilarious.
Yeah. And then I remember like Bergeron and Chara had to like pull him aside and like, hey, you got to stop licking people. He's like, all right.
And then dead person, I'll go Norm Macdonald.
That was the other one I was between Farley and Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, I thought he'd be picked.
I was gonna have him as my comedian, but I feel like save
Yeah.
him for the dead person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a truly like unique style of comedy too.
Dude, his speech at the what was it? Was it the ESPYs? Is that what it was?
Yeah, the ESPYs.
When
Where he did the OJ stuff.
Yeah, when he says whoever won the Heisman, and he's like, you won the Heisman. He's like, that's something that is, you worked hard for that. They can never take that away from you. Unless you kill your wife and a waiter, of course, then they can take it away from you.
Dude,
but that was when like no one thought that was funny then. Like people didn't like those jokes.
Well, he
and
got
the crowd's
fired.
reaction.
He got fired from SNL for those jokes.
Yeah.
And it was because like some guy at NBC was like friends with OJ. Like some executive, and he's like, they got to stop telling those jokes. And he like would not.
Yeah.
I'd say he was
he
right.
Has a good one. His like late night appearances are so good. He has one where he's I forget what he's on. It might be on Letterman, and he goes, I found the perfect stocking stuffer. And they go, what is it? He goes, a human foot.
Francis, you're up.
All right. So I need a dead person. I'm having a little trouble with this. I'm gonna go. Fuck. It's hard not to just like go with another comedian, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, God damn, dude. I'm gonna go with Robin Williams.
Yeah, he was.
And Sass is not gonna like this pick because Sass thinks he's a joke stealer, but Sass thinks everyone's a joke stealer.
I don't think anyone is. I don't even think Dane Cook is a joke stealer.
I like Robin Williams. I think Robin Williams to me is like, in a Eddie Murphy-esque in that he was, established as a stand-up, but his true range came out as an actor and did a ton of incredible comedy movies. I remember watching like Flubber growing up.
Yeah.
And like loving it. And just so good at all that. Mrs. Doubtfire was incredible.
Good Morning Vietnam was great movie.
Yeah, Good Morning Vietnam. Like
Will
he's
Hunting.
so good. But that's not funny.
Yeah,
but
that's
like
his
he
range
won
right
the
there.
Oscar for that.
Mhm.
And his stand-up was never really like what I loved him for. I admired him for it. And he was somebody I always wanted to see live, but I didn't love watching it because it was so frenetic and kind of manic. But yeah, Robin Williams for me.
Jumanji.
Yeah.
Great call. Mm-hmm.
Right.
What's the Ben Stiller Night at the Museum? He was like,
It's Theodore Roosevelt, right?
Teddy Roosevelt, yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen one of his stand-ups. He was good.
Yeah.
He did a whole bit on croquet. That was funny.
What
And on golf too.
Yeah.
It's like that classic
golf.
Yeah, he's a Scottish accent golf guy. Yeah.
What was the improv show? What was it? There was an improv show. It was on like WCIU, I feel like. And he was on it. There was this super tall guy on it that you guys would all know if you saw his
Whose
face.
line is it anyway?
Whose line? Thank you.
He was on that?
Yes, he was on that for he at least guest hosted it, I know. And
I've
I
never
was like
seen that.
pissing myself in the episode that he was on.
Yeah.
Chief, to you.
I need an athlete. I'll go Chuck. I think Peyton's funny. Peyton is just objectively funny. I thought when he hosted SNL, like he was maybe the best athlete host ever. I think he's not like overly funny in the Manning cast, but like they're way more entertaining than the regular broadcast, in my opinion. So I think Peyton as a commercial actor, the SNL, and then he has like a very strong like comedic timing for when delivering jokes. So I'll take Peyton.
Dave hates Peyton.
I don't
No? Oh, I
no,
thought you did.
but to Francis's like original point, he tries. You could tell he's like putting on the comedic hat.
Totally, but
Yeah.
I think you say that for a lot of people in the funny
Sure.
people draft,
Sure.
and I think that for a guy who it's not his chosen profession, I think he does a pretty good job.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's a fine pick.
Perfectly fine 23rd or whatever. Pick.
Yeah,
Yeah, 23rd. All right, to me, I need a dead person. I'm between two. I hate that I can't have both, but I'm going to go with John Candy. I just love all those movies. They're great. Polka King of the Midwest, Uncle Buck, Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you name it, he's got so many good ones. Vacation.
I just saw a clip that I completely forgot of a movie he was in. He was in Rookie of the Year.
Oh, the broadcaster.
He's the broadcaster.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I forgot about that. too.
Spaceballs.
Uncle Buck.
Yes, I would just rotate John Candy costumes at one point for Halloween. So that's
He's your guy.
Gotta tip my cap to my guy. White Sox Dave, Mr. Irrelevant.
I wish I could go with the dead guy, but I can't. Unfortunately, we didn't record this draft a month ago or whatever. But I'll go with Ozzy. He's just hilarious.
Yeah.
I know he doesn't have the national appeal per se, but if you watch, he's a stand-up comedian on the pre and post game for the White Sox. He's a Chicago legend.
Ozzie Guillen, if you guys aren't.
Yeah, Ozzie Guillen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
I mean,
Ozzy.
he's so funny that they spoofed him on not Mad TV. Was it Mad TV or SNL?
I'm not sure.
I'm not familiar with that.
They spoofed a post game presser of his. I think it was Mad TV. Obviously, the lesser of the two, but he's hilarious.
Yeah, Ozzie's great. He's an outside the box pick that won't get you
I know.
any love, but I appreciate it.
And I was down between him and Derek Lewis. I thought he a better pick for UFC.
Okay. Yeah, he's funny for sure.
He's
That
hilarious.
would have been a good pick.
Yeah.
All right, honorable mentions, and then we'll vote off the person, and we'll get out of here. My A1 political person was George Santos.
Oh, that would
Yeah.
have been a good pick.
I mean,
It's hilarious.
it's
He's a
fucking funny.
funnier liar than Bill Clinton is, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah. George Santos is fucking hilarious.
He just keeps doubling down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Francis, you got any honorable mentions that we didn't
Yeah,
get to?
I have a few. I would have said like dead guy / politician Rob Ford,
Yes.
former mayor of
Yeah.
Toronto.
Oh yeah,
That's a
that would have been a
great
great
one.
one.
That was I was between him and John
Unbelievably
Candy.
funny.
Yeah.
Chris Farley reincarnated, and then I would say for two comedic actors from the Seinfeld world, Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yep.
Yeah, I was
Just
gonna
like
say.
has had 3 or more roles that have just like endured, from Elaine to obviously Veep, and then Jim Carrey for me, like from a comedic actor standpoint, similar to Sandler, just like movies I grew up on, Ace Ventura, on The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, on and on and on. Those are my honorables. Yeah.
Sass?
I had Vince Vaughn.
Yep. Me too.
I think Vince Vaughn's hysterical. And then I had Adam Devine too.
Oh, he's really funny too.
Him and Workaholics is
Yeah.
like some of the funniest shit ever.
Even what's the religion show, the newer one on HBO?
Oh, yeah, Righteous Gemstones.
I think he's so funny in Righteous Gemstones too.
Chief.
I really like Tom Segura and Shane Gillis. I mean, they're
Yeah.
they're both right there. The Cuomo line where he's like, "I'm not a pervert, I'm just Italian." I was like, I don't know if that was intended to be funny, but it was laugh out loud funny to me.
They had to spoof that on PMT.
Did they?
Like pervert or Italian.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Mike Tyson, pretty fucking funny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who was like the most egotistical guy who ever lived. Zlatan, where he just talks about himself, like he like calls himself a god. Like he is a preposterous. Like if you ask him to rank like the greatest soccer players of all time, he doesn't list himself and he goes, "I'm not a soccer player, I'm a god." Like he just like says insane shit like that. But I think that's all I really have.
Dave?
For actresses, someone who I feel like could have absolutely gone first overall, Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All-time great, just talent. On everything
Yeah.
he does is just he's the best at. Then I had John C. Reilly, Randy Quaid, and Tina
Yup.
Fey. We already talked about the athletes. And dead person, 2 guys I also am just very upset they didn't get drafted. Lloyd Bridges and Leslie Nielsen. Leslie Nielsen's maybe made me laugh harder than anybody on earth. Just
Unbelievable.
The Naked Gun is unbelievably good comedy.
Airplane,
Yes,
fucking
yes.
wrongfully
Yep.
accused, all those spoof movies he
They're
did.
all so fucking perfect.
Yeah.
I just got a couple here. So yeah, I was between Candy and Rob Ford. Rob Ford was great.
Rob Ford would have been great.
Yeah, he was like he's a surefire
Yeah.
political if he was still alive. Actor Ben Stiller,
Jerry Stiller too.
Steve Carell. I like Jack Black too. He's done some funny shit. Athlete, I had Roenick. I think Roenick's funny.
Looks kind of funny.
Political, you got to kind of like Al Franken was a big writer on SNL. So
Yeah, I thought about that.
Yeah.
Lori Lightfoot's pretty fucking funny, just an ironic.
Got a
way.
bigger dick than the
Yeah.
Italians.
Yeah, and just like the dumb shit she would do was like.
You guys see that video of AOC like this week coming out
screaming. Yeah.
to Cardi B?
No, I haven't
Oh,
seen
I
that.
didn't see that.
Oh, it was fucking insane. It's like it after watching like Veep, it's like one of those shit like that becomes funnier to me because like you're imagining like someone pitching that idea and then them being like, yeah, we got it. This is a good idea. Let's do this.
Or like,
And
no
then it's
way,
her.
that's too ridiculous.
Yeah. Like she goes out, Cardi B's blaring, and she's like, "Who's fucking ready?" And it's like, oh, this is so bad.
Take it easy. And obviously, what he does isn't funny, but like there is some humor in Kim Jong Un.
He sent
Yeah,
a bunch
I was
of
gonna say
balloons
him.
filled with shit across the border just to piss off another country a couple of weeks ago. I think that's laugh out loud funny, Ed.
Yeah, like just the way he looks. and-
Ignore all the genocide and,
he
and
just-
war crimes. And like,
I like Ricky Gervais too. That was another one I had.
Yeah,
Written
he's
down.
like only buddies with Rodman.
Yeah.
All right, so here's how this works next. Sass and Francis, I'm gonna read them all out, and then we got to vote on who had the worst one. That's not gonna be on the poll this week. Sass, Louis C.K., Vladimir Putin, Glenn Howerton, Brad Marchand, Norm Macdonald, Francis Charles Barkley, Will Ferrell, Bill Burr, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Robin Williams, Chief, Dave Chappelle, George W. Bush, Chris Farley, Larry David, Peyton Manning, Eddie, Donald Trump, Adam Sandler, Conor McGregor, Artie Lang, John Candy, White Sox Dave, Jim Jeffries, Eddie Murphy, Rodney Dangerfield, Bill Clinton, Ozzie Guillen. You could like write it in a notes app or just say it, whatever. It's fine. Who you got, Sass?
I'm gonna go with Dave just because I don't know like 2 of the people on his list.
who else don't you know?
Ozzy
I
is-
haven't seen a lot of Jim Jeffries stuff. And then the athlete that you listed.
Yeah,
Who's the
Ozzy, I
athlete?
get that part. Just go and watch
Yeah.
Alcoholicost by Jim Jeffries, then we'll talk.
I will.
Hour 15.
check
It's
it out.
quick.
Francis?
Oh, yeah, I'm picking the person whose team I think is the best.
Is
The
the
worst.
worst.
The worst.
The worst. Yeah, I'm also gonna go with Dave, and it's partly because I don't like him as a person. That's not true. I do really like you. But yeah, same reason. Like I'm not familiar with Ozzie Guillen. And can you give me his names one more time? Sorry.
Jim Jeffries, Eddie Murphy, Rodney Dangerfield, Bill Clinton, Ozzie Guillen.
Yeah, I don't think Bill Clinton's funny. And I don't think I respect Rodney Dangerfield, but like it's not that funny to me.
Chief.
What Francis said. So I love Ozzy, but Clinton's not funny. Dangerfield, like I kind of feel like your second and third round picks, like maybe my dad would vote for you, but these ones are
Eddie Murphy's like that. He's
legend.
exudes time. He goes beyond time.
Dave,
funny
you
to
He
are,
everybody.
exudes time. He exudes it.
He does.
you are
He's
voted
decades.
off, Dave.
Eddie's such a
Just
pussy.
leaks
I
it.
voted for Ed because
I
like,
voted for you.
Artie Lang. Well, you voted for me because everybody else voted for me.
No, I didn't. You had
Yeah,
the
you
worst
did.
draft.
McGregor.
I wrote it before
Is not-
anybody said that. Why would it's literally on my notes. WSD.
Of course, you put that in after you heard everybody else talk.
No, I didn't.
We've been actually
No, that's
texting
fine.
each other. What the fuck are Dave's picks?
I believe it.
Are you trying to shit on Artie Lang? Go listen to Artie Lang and Norm Macdonald talk about Bob Uecker. It is one of the funniest fucking clips ever. Did you ever seen that, Sass?
No, I haven't.
Watch that. Artie Lang.
I actually will watch it.
Artie
'cause I
Lang-
love Bob Euchre.
Artie Lang and Norm Macdonald talk about Bob Euchre on the Howard Stern show. It is fucking incredible.
I'll check
I've
that
seen
out.
Norm talk about Bob Euchre on Letterman, and that's very funny.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good.
That's a guy that I would love to drink just Miller Lite with at a dive bar one night before either one of us passes on to the next life is Bob Euchre.
Be nice. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hopping on. I appreciate it.
Thanks, boys.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. That's it, everybody.
Much
Thanks
love.
for listening. Thanks for
Thanks, guys.
watching. We'll see you guys next time.